In this olive grove in Azaz, northern Syria, refugees have set up their tents. We are just a few kilometers from the Turkish border. The region is dotted with more than a dozen camps like this one. They have become home to 1 million people who fled the fighting several years ago.
We've been here for 5 years. The first few months we thought it would be over soon, but after a year we understood it would take longer, and since then we've resigned ourselves to the worst.
50% of Syrians have been displaced at least once due to the fighting since the war began. Their bodies often carry physical traces of the conflict.
It happened in an air raid 5.5 years ago. I was shot in the thigh and the bone was shattered.
Over the last 10 years, Azaz changed hands several times.
There were 3 battles here. The first against the regime, the second against Islamic State group, and the third against Kurdish separatists.
SAFWAN was 20 when he picked up arms against Bashar al-Assad. The former member of the Free Syrian Army is now fighting alongside the National Syrian Army that brings together armed rebel groups fueled by Turkish support. From Syrian revolutionary to officer on Turkish payroll, 31-year-old SAFWAN has already lived several lives.
We're tired. Of course we are. 10 years is a lot. 10 years of our lives. We left school. Those 10 years stole our youth. It's not like we had a choice. We were forced to do it.
At every checkpoint, at every intersection, the revolutionary Syrian flag flies next to the Turkish crescent and star. Euphrates shield, olive branch, peace spring, spring shield. Since 2016, Turkey has conducted several military operations in the region, first against the Islamic State group, then to protect its own border that it says is threatened by Kurdish militias further south. In response, it trained, equipped, and funded local security forces. It also rebuilt the prefecture.
Ever since the Euphrates Shield operation, our Turkish brothers patrol the area, and that allows us, as a local administration, to provide services to the population in Azaz. Almost all European governments abandoned the Syrian revolution and turned their backs on the Syrian people. Turkey is our only lifeline, our only support.
Civil servants are paid in Turkish liras. The foreign currency is replacing the Syrian lira little by little in everyday life.
The Syrian currency is too unstable, so we switched to the Turkish lira. We still use the Syrian lira and the dollar, but more and more the Turkish lira.
In Azaz, Ankara rebuilt schools too. Turkey is financing and providing instruction that includes Turkish language classes.
The Turkish language has become very important for us and our students. With Turkish, we can communicate with the Turks. Before, we used to learn French, but those times are over now. That was in Bashar al-Assad's time.
For these children who have never known peace, the future will unfold under the wing of their powerful northern neighbor.